What the f is this world?
Tensioner went bye-bye.
Ejectocito, cuz! It worked! I love this button!
Hey guys, welcome back to Tin Shed TV. So from the last episode you saw all the dino gremlins that happened with this thing. And we're not still 100% sure what has caused it. But what I do know is our serpentine tensioner pulley had snapped off the brand new tension that we just put in, and that caused it to fly around and go down the street. So what we need to do first is fix this, put the belt back on with the stock tensioner, and then we can start looking at the problems that addressed the issues on the dyno, where it was either wheel spin, belt slip, and there's probably a third version that we need to look at, which is exhaust back pressure. So this is only a dual 2.5 inch exhaust, and what Barry and I think now is we've hit the limitations on that, and it is now causing too much back pressure where it's basically stopping the engine from making any more power. We're actually going backwards. So for every, you gotta remember, this is an air pump, so if you're pushing air in, you want the air to go out. And if you have exhaust back pressure, the air will actually come back up from the exhaust manifold into the cylinder. That causes inert gases in the combustion chamber where it's replacing actual oxygen, and therefore we're not going to get the power that we actually want. So that's detrimental. But first we're going to go back to our stock tensioner, which still works, and as you can see the casting is much thicker, so it's shown that it can work. So I'll clean it up and then we'll see if it can actually just survive a few more weeks until we can get another replacement. Alright, I'm just looking through to make sure that there's no other damage caused by that runaway pulley. I can't seem to find anything. There's no damaged hoses or wires, which is good. Especially the throttle body wire, that was lucky. A bit of a graze there on that thermostat housing, but that's about it. I can't seem to find any other damage, especially a little oil pressure sensor. That seems to be alright. So it looks like we're all in the clear. So to replace that, I've got to take that either pulley off. I've also got to take all the coolant hoses out. So might as well drop the coolant again, just so I can not make a mess. I thought I'd just let it drip out slowly into the bucket, but no, as much as you thought it was going to go into the bucket, it found its own way out. Alright, well there it is. There's the it's out. So got to put that back in the new one. I mean the old one. And yeah, very disappointed. As you can see, the casting marks, very shit quality casting. So I'm pretty disappointed. Like, it shouldn't really have failed. Come on, Gates, pick up your game. Alright. In the bin. Time to give this thing a bit of a brake clean, get all the schmutz out, and then we'll oil her back up, eh? Lube this guy back up by giving a bit of a WD-40 and a bit of movement. Make sure she springs around like that. Quite nice. Bit of lanolin for anti-seize properties. Smells like a sheep farm. Smells like New Zealand. Attention, it's basically brand new. Alright, it's all back in, looking snazzy. Yeah, so what I'll do as well, I'm going to take that back to a factory tensioner, and then just get 75, send that away, because we know it makes tension, we know it does its job. Unfortunately, the whole alignment of that plate is all crooked due to the welds. It's not 100% straight, therefore I'm only getting like 50% of the actual belt grip. That you can watch the belt jump up and down in the videos. It's quite fascinating. So I'm going to get that sent away and made into the proper plate with the proper laser cutting and proper welding, and hopefully when that comes back we'll actually have a super tensioner that I can actually properly test and hopefully sell on the market shortly. So the belts kind of had it. Unfortunately, it's my only one, so I'm gonna have to shove it in anyway, and hopefully it just doesn't fall apart. But yeah, just for testing purposes, I'll shove it back in. I'll get to go on there. I might be lucky to get one from Super Cheap tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. Brand new belt. Went down to Super Cheap this morning. So I'll quickly throw it in with the supercharger one and we're there. Alright, all on there. Warm her up and take it for a drive. Let's see how good Barry's cold start is. Might get rid of that. Oops. The sound of music. Doesn't need a bit of throttle. The plugs are going to be wet. Nuts. Alright, let's see how this thing goes. It goes alright, third gear power skids. I think my synchros and my box are a bit gone though. Sneak back home after a little sneaky burnout. Well, now that issue is all fixed and we can drive again. Back to the garage, because we're going to double check what is causing that. Throw more boost in, no extra power. So we reckon it's the exhaust is too small, or is, yeah, so only one way to find out. Let's rip it out. Well, this is what's going to help us find the issues inside. So we're going to grab this to
see inside our exhaust and in the future any problems in the cylinder head. So let's see how good it is. Hold this so I can record what's going on in there. There we go, we're starting to record now. So I shove that in the hole. There's my cat. So what do we see? I don't really see that much. I don't know if you say that's collapsed or not. What's over there? There's a piece of material there. Don't know. Maybe just can't get the air out. Looks alright. Doesn't look like it's folded in on itself. Alright, let's go check the other one. On this side, we're going to come in for the O2 sensor hole because this bung has been like welded in shut, so I can't even get that one out. Yeah, that's why I ain't coming out. She's like welded herself in there pretty good. Anyway, moving on down to the actual cat though. There's my cat. Alright, what can you see on that one? Doesn't look collapsed at all. Looks alright. Not too concerned about the cats. They seem to be all intact. The only other place to check is at the crossover pipe. So down here at the crossover pipe, I have the option to look both ways. It smells the 85 again. But you can check the condition of... Yeah, it's recording. Check the condition of the center mufflers. See if they've started falling apart. Not a lot of room down here. Not a lot of room down here. So it's like a mining expedition. Bit of shit in the middle, but they seem alright. Just a heap of fucking rust water droplets. And there we go, back up towards one of the cats. So this is the back end of the cat, the exit side. And they look alright. So maybe my exhaust is just too small. The only real way to test is to throw an exhaust pressure sensor on it and then see what happens to it. Fresh out from EFI Solutions. Oh. Ooh, pretty copper tubing to distill with. And an exhaust pressure dampener. So we can go shove in the car now and start measuring a brand new 150 psi pressure sensor. Well, sensor's working. Let's go for a drive. The ease into it. Yeah, it's a bit hard today. vlog. Because all I did was put my foot to the floor in 4th gear, and then it did something. So that's what I've probably been after this whole time. Alright, so first things first, we'll quickly find that throttle issue. As you can see, as it goes up, the throttle, one's a pedal and one's the actual blade, and they start coming apart due to air resistance maybe, or voltage, we're not sure. But that caused that little blip right there for the throttle error. So we'll move on to the actual exhaust valve now. Alright, so what we can see from this one is there's your RPM as it goes up, the yellow, and then there's the manifold air pressure, which is the pink. That got up to around 26.6 psi. But here's our exhaust pressure, and that climbs to a maximum of 10 psi. So we've got 10 psi of exhaust pressure pre-cat. That could be hurting some power. But we also got to look at this alternator, because look, if I go to battery voltage, here we go, 14.1, get on the loud pedal, drops all the way down to 11 volt. And it keeps going, and then that's where it blipped and had that error. So yeah, gotta look at my alternator. It's going some fancy shit. Alright, so we found the actual reason for loss of power. It could either be alternator or it could be exhaust pressure. I'm gonna pack my bet on exhaust pressure, and a bit of both really. You can't really make spark, but it never threw an error like that on the dyno, so that's even interesting. It just happened now. So I'll do some investigation. It could be the wiring to the PD16 size, or it could be something else with the alternator, I don't know. But got to address that flow in the exhaust. 10 psi in the butt. My car's constipated. And next time you'll see this thing will be at Queensland Raceway for All GN Day on the 16th of June. So we're going to trailer out there and do some tests and some logging whilst around the track, so we can actually do some 4th gear pulls. And then that will confirm what we have to do, and then we'll take this thing back to the dyno with a new exhaust and any other little bits and pieces, including a tensioner or something like that, and that will hopefully get us towards our goal. I'm still saying 800 horsepower is our goal with this blower. Will it make it? I don't know, but it's still the goal. We'll get there eventually. Just so we can say the nugget of a V6 can still take on the LS boys. But till then, we'll catch you next time. With a stock car height, you still got to use stands to get underneath it. I mean, I'll start that again. Even with a stock car height, you still got to use ramps to get a jack underneath it. There's a camera attached to that window. Better tyres and just learn how to drive the manual again, especially this one. This clutch does not like to disengage 100% for synchros. That's what I've probably been after this whole time. What the hell are you doing? See? I told you so. Why would you want to bother with a TVS when you have a juicy 600 horsepower supercharger over there? Why? Why bother with this when you have me? I told you so. I told you so.